Good afternoon, I'm Dan at Northern Sun Mercantile. In this video, we're going to talk all about chicken tractors, the various styles, how to set them up, feeders, waterers, and more. Be sure to stay tuned all the way through to the end for all the tips and tricks on how to get your broiler chickens off to a good start on pasture. But before we begin that, let's go take a look at the chicks that we got the first week in September and see how they're doing. They should be just about ready to go out on grass. All right, for those of you that saw the first video in this series, you saw these chicks when they were, the day we got them actually, 2 days old. They are now, I think about 2 weeks old. We got them September 5th. It's now September 17th. They'll be going out on grass next week, but as you can see, they are just about fully feathered and a lot bigger than they were last video. They do grow really fast, and these guys have been doing great. We haven't lost a single one. They're actually a little on the hot side today. The heat lamp has been shut off. We're just running the sweeter heater at night. We have the 4-foot sweeter heater in this box. They're going through about 6 to 8 pounds of food a day. We've upgraded them to the 10-pound feeder at this point. Of course, their water gets changed out every day, and yeah, they're thriving. So they'll be going out on grass probably next Thursday. All right, so for the chicken tractor setup, we use Joel Salatin style tractors. These are a 10 by 12 unit. We run 2 of these. They're pretty inexpensive to make and fairly efficient. We generally run about 60 to 65 birds. They say you can run up to 75 in these. We found it was a little too crowded for the birds, and they made quite a mess before you got to move them again. These get moved once a day. Every morning they get moved onto fresh grass. There's a lot of different style tractors that are available. There are plans available online. You can build a John Suskovich style tractor, which is more of a hoop style. Might not do quite as good in the wind. I'm curious to try that in the future. There's a few things we don't like about these tractors. Mostly, our number one complaint with these is that the birds are really hard to get out of them when it comes time to process them. We found the easiest thing to do is just to pick the whole thing up and just move it right off the top of them and just set it down behind them. But other than that, I mean, they're inexpensive to build. You can scale this down a lot. I actually started out when I was just doing birds for myself. I would do 40 a year in a 6x8 Salatin style tractor, just made with 2x2 pressure treated lumber and a little bit of aluminum roofing on top. They are very simple to build. There's a lot of plans on the internet, like I said, for building them, and I guess the sky's the limit. You just want to keep them as light as possible, because remember, you've got to move these things. To move them, we actually just use an appliance dolly. It's pretty simple. You can actually make a custom dolly, but we found that this works pretty good because the wheels are really low to the ground, keeps the tractor low to the ground, just breaks that surface tension at the rear. On the other end, we have a pretty heavy piece of rope that's tied right to the frame and stapled, that we use to drag it forward. They're a little difficult to turn, and sometimes it's a 2-person job to turn them just to keep the birds from getting too close to the side and getting run over. It helps to have another person just to shoo them away from the edge. These are all set up with bucket waterers. These are Little Giant units that we rigged up to a bucket. You can get all the fittings at the hardware store. These are Little Giant large poultry waterers. There's a bulkhead fitting on the bottom of the bucket. I'll probably do a video in the future on how to make this. They work pretty good. They do plug if you have any sediment in the water. They do get plugged, and you've got to take them apart and bang them out. There's another style of water called a Plasan waterer, which is also a gravity-fed unit, and I've heard that they don't plug. We may be trying one of those in the future too, just to see how they work. We supplement because they go through a lot of water when it's hot. Right now there's about 60 birds in this tractor. We also use a 6-gallon gravity-fed vacuum waterer. We found they work really good too. So these birds go through about 10 gallons of water in a day. Obviously, if you're doing it on a smaller scale, you could probably just get away with a 5 or 6 gallon vacuum water, just one of these units from Tractor Supply. You want to have plenty of feeders available for them too. If they're clambering over themselves trying to get to the food, you probably need to add another feeder. We have in this unit, see if I can get a picture of it. We have a trough style feeder that's 4 feet long, holds about 12 pounds of food, and then we have 2 of these top gravity fed 10-pound feeders. 60 birds, 60 to 65 birds, they go through about 30 pounds of food a day. So you just want to make sure that they have plenty of feeder space available. So other than food, water, and shelter, broilers really are fairly easy. They're pretty minimal in the amount of time per day it takes to take care of them. We have 4 batches going at any given time and 150 layers here. And generally, it takes us about 45 minutes for 2 of us to get everybody taken care of in the morning for the whole day. Get them all moved, water, feed, grit, which is something I'll talk about in the next video. But yeah, they thrive in good weather. They don't like wet weather. If it's too cold, sometimes you have some problems. But middle of the summer and into the fall, they really do well. And if I was to do this for myself, to just fill my own freezer, I would definitely start them late in the summer, say August, maybe July, get them started and process them 8 weeks later. And I may even split it up into 2 batches of 20. 40 birds is generally enough for a small family to make it through and not have to buy any chicken. So that's about it for this video. If you like the video, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and stay tuned for the next video. This is a video that is part of a series documenting broiler chickens from the day they arrive to us right through to the day we process them. And I will be going into detail in the last video on processing, doing cuts, packaging, chilling, plucking, scalding, all of it. It'll probably be a long video, but it will be a very informative video. So stay tuned, and thank you for watching.